Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us for Politically Incorrect. I believe this is episode 140 or something very similar. Uh, we're tired today. At least I'm tired today. And may not be so bad, but we just got home from Florida last night and we drove for 26 hours in 2 days. And even though like I was taking weird car naps and stuff, man, I'm tired. It's
Yeah,
weird how that
that's
happens.
pretty rough.
That's okay. And then my kids were so good, but by yesterday afternoon they were like fighting, and then I'm like, stop talking. I don't want to hear anybody talk. And then one of them's crying because you told me to shut up. And I'm like, but did I? No, I asked you to just stop bickering. Like, oh man, so it's been a day, a week, a weekend. And I know Anne had a rough day at work, and we're just happy that today is a day off.
That is true. That is very, very true. But before we totally get going,
Oh
because
yeah, sorry.
it's okay. There's a lot of news this week. We are sponsored by Lynn of Chicken Lady Fiber Arts. You can get beautiful yarns like this called Marvelous. And with her promo code, if you still order for the month of February, it is Hearts 20 PIK. But if you're ordering in March, it is Solstice 20 PIK to get 20% off your order.
Fancy, fancy.
Yep. And also, go to our website, sign up for her newsletter. You can get additional coupon codes that stack on her newsletter and see all of the lovely new stuff that she's doing. With the new month, she will have a new book of the month and a new minis flower of the month set. So that'll be very exciting.
Yeah, and doesn't she have a new musical of the month too? Hasn't she been
Yes.
doing 3? So
Yes.
it's good for you guys. I mean, maybe not so much for your wallet, but it's good for your knitting.
Right.
Um,
Yep.
yeah,
And
so
yes, and also we are announcing giveaway winners.
Yep,
Um,
yep.
also, I've been meaning to say this for a while now, but we did announce the giveaway winner for December, and we haven't been contacted yet. So, D York, if you're listening, please contact us. Or if we don't hear from you from next week, we're going to go ahead and draw for somebody else because that's kind of been outstanding for a while.
Yeah.
But the January winner is Kansas Chicky. So,
Ooh, and I have that yarn.
yes.
Congratulations, Kansas Chicky. You got a skein of Chicken Ladies. Geez, this is our colorway. I should know what
The
it
PK
is called.
colorway.
It's on her bulky MCM base, and you also get a copy of my earwormer pattern, which if I was a professional, I would have right here and I would hold it up, but I don't. So imagine a brioche earwormer. That's also what you get. So,
And the February winner of the marvelous yarn is Bootleg Knitter.
cool. Sorry. I got a random fluff in my nose. I didn't want to be doing that on screen.
That's pretty fun. Anyways, so you win skein yarn, little tape measure thing with the foot. Right, wrong foot. Don't want to pull off the wrong foot.
Yeah, no, you gotta be careful about that.
That'd be bad. But yeah, it's adorable. So yeah, go ahead and email us with your address and we'll get this right to you.
politicallyincorrectknitters@gmail.com.
Yep.
Or you can send me a message, deplorableknitter@yahoo.com. Either way, we will get it out to you.
Yep.
For both ladies, Kansas Chicky?
Kansas Chicky.
And Bootleg Knitter. Oh, and D York.
And D York.
All you guys, get in touch with us. Come on.
Come on, people. We want to send you free stuff.
I know, right? So I want to talk first. Is that okay? I don't have any knitting to show because while I was on vacation last week, I did a knit for Neil. And at first he was like, sure, you can show it off. So I made a little reel. I put it up on Instagram. It was super cute. And then he emailed me and he's like, yeah, I think I'm going to keep them a secret. So don't show anymore. I'm like, okay. So I have that I did. I can't show you guys. And then I started a new project in the car because I don't know what it is about when I travel to Florida, but I always get inspired. Maybe it's the fact that I'm kind of like unplugged from life.
Mhm.
And so I started a new design. Super excited about it. That is somewhere in the luggage that was unpacked from the car but has not made it to its proper place yet. So I also don't have that to show you.
Right.
And I'm working on the same idea with a different yarn. This is from Potions Yarns, and it
Ooh.
is so pretty. I think it's called Jumble. I'm not sure if it was a one-off. I have a tendency to buy those.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. But Marvelous is in Chicken Lady's shop, correct?
Right. It is.
Yeah, because Jean is asking. So yeah, Jean,
Okay.
if you want to, you can go find that in her shop. Use our code for 20% off. You'll
Mhm.
be a happy lady. Um, let's see what else. Oh, if you guys haven't thought about it yet, this lovely item that I am wearing is going to be part of the Patreon exclusive members only box. It won't be this color. I have a one of a kind colorway coming for my members only from Tina from Wened Yarn and Fibers. I almost said she was Chicken Lady. No, Tina from Wened
Different
Yarn and
people.
Fibers has made us our own colorway for this design. I'm not going to take it off and show you because we're trying to keep some secrecy. Um, but yeah, so that's going to be for my Patreon people who are part of the experienced tier. If you join, you get special things. We do Zoom chats and we do all kinds of different things. And like tonight, the experienced tier gets a Zoom chat at 9 o'clock.
Mhm.
I will be punchy because it's catching up with me. Jean's asking about the thing. It's not purple. It's marvelous. I assume it's
Right.
a play on the word mauve, so it's Mauvee
I don't know.
something.
And
I would check for it.
right. I know that on her website she'll have this thing where it's like under specific, like you can
Hmm.
search generally or you can search by color groups. So not sure.
Yeah, yeah, but it's not so purple as mauve, which is what a
Mhm.
little bit pinker.
Right.
So
And
it
I
might not
also
come up
know
under
that
purples.
Lynn is redoing her website. So if you're like, oh man, I can't find it, go ahead and message her. Either email
Yeah,
her or Instagram her. So just in case that there was some sort of an internet shuffle between the new website platforms, that you can go ahead and contact her because that can be an issue too.
yeah, for sure.
But
So
when she sent me a bunch of yarns for a giveaway, and they're all so beautiful. Like I probably should have showed them all at once. Maybe I'll take a picture and put it on Instagram later. But okay, me, a fool, see this fool face. So I went and it's a cardboard box with a flap that you open, and I went to cut along the side and I cut into the yarn and I almost cried. So I had to be like, Lynn, I did this. I'll buy a new skein. Don't worry. But I had some issues finding it on the website. And she's like, no, 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 it's here. It's just, like I said, internet shuffle. So yeah,
yeah,
she'll figure that out for you. Lynn's
yeah,
nice, very accommodating,
yeah.
even for people like me who cut into a beautiful skein.
Well, on the upside, you have a beautiful skein of yarn now. You might have to splice it together a little bit, but you
Here.
can do that. You're a professional.
Oh, okay. So, this beautiful skein will be next month's giveaway, but don't be commenting yet. This is a sneak peek. But this is the sister of the one I cut into. And this
That is
is,
so pretty.
I know, this is productively procrastinating. And it's like black watch plaid colors. So
It's what?
it's a name of a plaid, black watch.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's so pretty. And this is on her Rhode Island red that is superwash merino, and it's beautiful. And she sent along a little mini skein with it in dark purple. Look,
Oh,
look at that.
dude, I just want to buy all the yarns all the time. Why do I not make enough money that that's what I can do? Like, how much do I really need to spend on groceries? Should we
Like
like
serious.
reevaluate this?
Well, I don't know. Almost as much as you should be spending on books, which we'll get to later. But
Uh-oh.
anyways, do you have any more knitting?
Oh no, I have no knitting. Did you not notice it?
Well, yes.
Um,
Here, one second. I I'm just flipping stuff everywhere.
Yeah, Murdernet says she loves that Rhode Island red base. Rice and beans go far. Yes, thank you, Tabitha. Right? Like, totally. I mean, you can do so much stuff with rice and beans. I could totally cut my budget by half, and then we could totally get onto this buying more Chicken Lady yarn, which is probably
the
what I
most
need to do.
important thing.
Right?
Aha.
Aha, what? I think she's going to come back with something. I hope.
Sorry. No, aha, because no, I was digging around every which way. Anyways, because I had last time that I finished the cowl and I said I wouldn't put it on until I had the hat to go with it.
Okay.
So. Ta-da.
Oh, yeah, and you don't have your red lipstick on today just for this occasion.
Exactly.
Smarty McSmarty pants.
It's very, well, it's a light colored cowl. And that,
right?
Also that lipstick is smeary as all get out. Anyways. So, get that. Ooh, that's not the most flattering. Not gonna lie. But the point is that you can do this.
Mm-hmm. Because apparently in the tundra where Anne lives, it's been really cold.
It's been stupid cold. And it's been, this year has been like a blizzard week after week. So we had 3 blizzards over 3 weeks, Christmas and New Year's. And then we had, let's see, a blizzard last week and the week before, like enough that school was shut down both times. It's not just it snowed, it was nobody's moving. We're all out.
Right.
We're done.
Right.
And it's supposed to either rain or snow tomorrow. So
right.
Super nice. But anyways, yarn wise, this is a mini skein set from Sweet Mountain Fibers that it fades from blue to yellow, but then I saved the edges of the yellow is just a little bit here. I saved the edges of the fade for a matching striped hat. And it's held together with mohair from You and Dye Yarns. And Elizabeth, she's in the chat, and she's going to be on Knitting Wars with us tomorrow. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, it is going to be fun. And man, hopefully I'll be a little bit more rested when we're on that tomorrow. Holy moly. I swear my brain does generally work. It just, today was a day, and I was telling Anne, so you guys may have heard, but I was in Florida and we drive. And it takes 2 days to come home. And Saturday we left, we got rear-ended. It was just the world's longest car trip. Like, just everything took forever. We were on a road in Georgia, and literally there was a sign that said pavement ends, and we're like, where are we? Are we like gonna get like murdered while we're out here because there's no road anymore? What happened? Right. So we just finally got home last night though, and man, so tired, so grumpalumped. But hey, happy to be here with you guys. We had so much fun too. My kids and I, we are warm weather people. We like to be in the sun and in the water and at the beach, and we did all that stuff. It was fabulous.
Okay.
Yeah, now we're back to life. So that's my story about it.
Yep.
I lost the thread there. But it's okay.
That's right.
Lucky for us, Anne has the thread because I am not today.
Well, here, before I go on, before I move on to the news portion, I also have the Knitty McPurley Lent calendar.
Oh, yes. I have been jealous about that thing. Not jealous, but like, man, it's pretty.
It is. So if you don't want it spoiled, I've knit through Saturday because there's no yarn on Sunday, and I have Monday's color. I just haven't skeined it up and knitted in yet. So everyone, spoilers, look away, don't pay attention. Anyways, done. So we have this.
Pretty.
Yeah,
That's a
and
pretty fade.
it is. And here, the next color is going more pinky. So we sort
Yes.
of started.
Yes.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is very pretty. I was concerned a little bit because it is fingering weight yarn on size 5 needles. So I
Mhm.
was sitting there, I'm like, okay, I swatched correctly, but is this, is that really going to work? It does really work. It is lovely. Um, Tabitha, my yardage is doing great. There's actually, I know Tabitha said she had a little problem with the last shawl, that it would be knit to a certain extent and then she'd run out of yarn,
Mhm.
which, is a problem. But no, this is mapped out very much. So there's actually, and she'll say to actually cut her yarn at point, not just knit until you have none. So there's like little tiny leftovers, and I'm already excited about what I'm going to do with the little tiny leftovers because I throw away nothing, 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 nothing. So yeah, I'm excited about that. And yeah, so I'll, you know, have to knit that in. And it's all garter to begin with. I know that she has like a million stitch markers that she had to go with it. So we're going to get into some cool, I assume, lace. I haven't actually looked ahead in the pattern. So,
Mhm.
like with that many stitch markers, so I know that something's going down later. Um, but yeah, that,
No, that's awesome.
and there's currently, it's a short rows section, but only on one side, which is exciting.
Hmm.
So yeah, we'll see where this
Interesting
goes.
stuff.
Yeah, I'm excited. Anyways, sorry. Shawl down, spoilers off. Or
Yeah,
color
guys, come
spoilers.
back. Come back. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Oh, I just joined for knitting in the round. Did not even check if I was. Oh, good. I'm straight. Man, don't you hate it when you like forget to check and then you get halfway through and you're like, oh, there's a huge twist in this thing. Like, what was I thinking? We're all good.
Yeah.
So, what are we? What new hell do we have to look forward to today?
Well, funny you should ask.
Oh, great.
Okay, so depends on where you want to start. We mentioned, okay, so things that we have previously mentioned and there's updates on. The UK counter-terror group, Prevent, which has put all of the classic novels and many history books on. If you read this, you are basically a right-wing extremist, which actually includes 1984, which is hilarious. But
Isn't that what that whole book is about? I mean, yes, that is what that whole book is about. I'm not
yeah,
asking, I'm telling
exactly.
you.
Yeah. But yeah, including, Lord of the Rings, C.S. Lewis, um, David Starkey's history books, all of them. So it's pretty wild. Especially since Prevent is not good at preventing literally anything else. In fact, you know what Prevent is really bad at preventing? Um, they're really bad and they're really bad at preventing any sort of terrorist act happening whatsoever. And from the same police system that gave you Prevent, we have this problem happening in Astor College in Dover, in which there was a girl who was raped by four Afghan no it was a gang of 4 Afghan men. Whether or not she was raped by all of them, they were all involved, let's just say. So there's a protest about this because not only have these boys, not been removed from the school, but the girls who are protesting this are saying that they have constant sexual harassment from them. So 5 girls, because they protested this, have been suspended from school.
For protesting being assaulted?
Well, the girl assaulted is not the one protesting, but I don't know. I would, if I was in a school and there were was this group of people who had formerly raped someone and they were harassing me, I would feel pretty unsafe with that whole thing. That'd be
Mm-hmm.
not cool. But naturally, it's the girls' fault and how very undiverse of them.
Sometimes when you tell me things, I feel like it's possible you are just making it up.
Oh,
Because how can this possibly be real life? Like, I know you're not, but how can this be real life, people?
right.
For real.
Well, we have quite a lot. Speaking of not real life and 1984, we also have, remember the thing with Roald Dahl and his books were being censored by.
Right?
Yep, all that. And then they said, "Oh no, this is so much backlash. Oh, it's okay. We'll do two different editions. If you want the originals, you can have those. And if you want the edited ones, you can have those, and it'll be good. It'll be all fine. Except as Mr. Peter Emanuelson, who is a Swedish reporter, reports, all of the digital editions have instantly been upgraded, so you don't have a choice there.
Wow. I remember when we were growing up, probably more so me than you because you're 10 years younger, but we used to say things like, I'm rubber, you're glue. Anything you say bounces off of me and sticks to you. Or, sticks and stones can break my bones, but words can never hurt me.
Right.
We need to go back to that. Like, my kids sometimes try to tattle on each other and they'll be like, oh, they said this to me. And I'll be like, and?
Mhm.
Because it's just words. And if you can't handle somebody not liking you or saying that you're a something or, oh my God, use the word fat. Some people are fat.
Indeed,
I
they.
mean, it's just life. I'm fat by medical terms. Like, it's life.
Mhm.
If I cried over everything I didn't like, man, I wouldn't have time to do anything else.
Right.
This whole baby sad, I can't handle stuff that doesn't agree with my political or my whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's really old.
It is really old, and also, okay, so they start with Roald Dahl. They're also editing all of the James Bond books ahead of the 70th anniversary. Isn't that nice? Because after all, there's a lot of things that are, culturally inappropriate in James.
And
And no, seriously. And also, you know why the modern movies totally suck? Because they're not the books. They're not even close to the books. The books are so
right.
much more in depth and so clever. I know I've ranted about this before, but Ian Fleming, James Bond are absolutely excellent. And no, they're not politically incorrect. You expect a military British man who's lived through everything and it's the 60s now to be politically correct about things? No, and that again, the beauty of the James Bond books is yes, it's spies, it's this, it's that, but it's like, no, this is Ian Fleming knew all the Secret Service guys, okay? He knew how they thought, he knew how they reacted, he knew the things and places that he talked about in his books. That's where he drew from experience to write. That's why they're brilliant. And oh, it's so disgusting. And
Yeah.
and the thing is that okay, so we're talking Roald Dahl, we're talking Ian Fleming, but this is it's going to go down the line of oh well, of course this happens. Why are you complaining about it? Everyone knows that things are censored, just like everyone knows that YouTube, PayPal, Shopify censor things they don't like
Yeah.
and
I
delete people
mean,
they don't like. Well, you must have done something wrong after all. And James Bond, he says some sexism is the least of James's problems. But
Tabitha says The Witch Trials of J.K. Rowling on iTunes. Highly recommend. I would love to read it. I think, I always loved the Harry Potter books, and now that I'm getting back into them with my kids, I love them.
mm-hmm.
And then I also am obsessed with her books that she wrote as Robert Galbraith. They're so good. They're
Right.
so good. Like, I'm on the wait list for the next one. I cannot wait to get it.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody hates her because she isn't towing the line. And it's like, she's a brilliant author. You don't have to agree with everybody to enjoy things. I'm so tired of it.
Right. And also with it, okay, who with J.K. Rowling, I mean, I had a rant a bit on the knitting wars with Liz, but it's like when she was growing up, she was reading Ian Fleming. And you
Hmm.
can see a lot of Ian Fleming, little hints and pieces of it in her work. And it's, oh, because she ripped it off? No, but because she had this in her, her imagination from a small child, and you can see the influences of that. Yeah, so we are going to neuter all of fiction, and then we're going to hurt imaginations of the population moving forward because of this.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't write it down, but I just saw a quote. It was attributed to Aristotle. Could totally be something made up because it was on Instagram, so it might not be.
Right.
But it was talking about
Everything
how
on the internet is true all the time, Abraham Lincoln.
exactly. But it said that tolerance is like a society's last breath or something. It's like all of this preaching tolerance and everything is the sign that your society is going right in the shitter, people. Like we need to we don't need to love everybody. Like we should love everybody, but we don't need to tolerate and embrace everything that everybody does, I guess is more accurate to say. Like
We don't
it's
have to accept the premise every single time.
right. Right. You can enjoy James Bond and you can also understand that he is politically incorrect and sexist. But that's life. I don't know, like
I
get
don't know.
over it.
I don't know. I think sexist James Bond in the books is a much better man than wussy Daniel Craig in the movies. Said what I said. But
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that women should have sexist guys, but also, there's something to be said about a strong dude that isn't a little beta male.
mhm,
A lot of us like them still.
yeah,
It's okay.
true that. Anyways,
Sorry, I don't need to
aren't
go on
beta
a rant.
males. Okay.
Who are we talking about now?
Okay. Couple, and again, we have a lot of stories here, so you can go several different directions with this one. We have James O'Keefe, who was ousted from Project Veritas, which is huge, but very instantly after he was shoved out, he started up his own little thing for tip lines. And there was an open letter from many of the people who were whistleblowers for him. And they said, hey, we all trusted this man. He never betrayed us. He never said anything until, we were willing to make it public, until we got video evidence or other things like that. Until we were ready to testify, he never betrayed it. He was always very kind. And they had a little video saying that that their trust can't be bought, and that level of trust with him can't be bought. And it was the whistleblowers from Google, CNN, Hasbro, ESPN, Fox, Pfizer, HHS, DHS. Like, it was a pretty solid list saying, no, we're going with you. If Project Veritas kicks you out, then we're still on your side. So that
Mm-hmm.
was pretty impressive.
No, that's awesome.
Um,
I messed up my knitting, so now I have to just focus on you.
oh, okay. But anyways, so yeah, that's big. More British news. Here's another one. So, Andrew Bridgen, who is a British MP, so he was talking with Dominique Samuels, who is a British political commentator, and she has a show. Anyways, breaking news on her show. She was very funny because she's like, I wasn't expecting this. He had this sort of throwaway line with, Britain has the best politicians that can be bought. He's like, okay, what do you mean about this? So Andrew Bridgen, he goes to Parliament and he has a bit talking about vaccine harms and vaccine injuries. And it was very difficult for him to get kind of this speaking slot to do this, but he did. And a man came round to his office from number 10 which it was Boris Johnson as prime minister at the time, and basically said, you can have whatever you want, but you have to be quiet about this.
Wow.
And, clearly it wasn't just money on the table. It's like, where do you want to go? Who do you want to be? What do you want to happen? And
Interesting.
we can make it happen. And after that he said no. But then he got a call from Parliamentary Welfare Office saying that that some people have said that he's suicidal. And, are you okay?
Interesting.
Yeah. Yep. And then the Times, who Andrew Bridgen says is basically a conduit for the Prime Minister's office, started a campaign that he's an awful anti-Semite, because that's how it always happens. But very much a like, wow, it's not even a secret now.
Yeah, that's messed up.
Hmm.
Holy moly. Man, how do I get off this ride? Not really. I'm not suicidal. Please take note.
Please note, will not commit suicide.
But holy moly, God, this is exhausting.
I know. Well, yes. And okay, it's a good thing that it's all coming out. Um,
Right. But
and
the thing that kills me is that like they're not even trying to keep it a secret anymore. They're like, oh, you don't want what we're selling? Haha, look it, you're suicidal, you're this, you're that, you're when did this happen? Like what?
yeah, that it's very much of a intimidation tactic of, oh, I heard you weren't feeling so well. Are you okay? Are you sure you
Dumb.
don't want to take the deal?
So dumb.
Yeah, it's scary stuff.
That's exactly what I was thinking when she was saying it. Sure sounds like being suicided by the Clintons.
Yeah. Well, it's
Still
sort
not
of weird.
suicidal.
Yeah. It's still it's one of those interesting things where and it was mentioned by Dominique Samuels that so many of the people in high office around the world are moving in the same direction, and there's many reasons for that. But also, money is a great reason for you to agree. Awesome reason for you to agree. And you'd think that all of the people of the world would have, diverse backgrounds, diverse ideas. They might have a variety of political opinions from those diverse backgrounds and ideas. And weirdly enough, no. Why would that be?
Yeah, it's strange how these things happen.
But
I don't know. Super.
super, super. See, also, we have East Palestine, and where there's actually people coughing up blood.
Oh, good.
Yeah. But yeah, and Trump came, which was awesome. It was very much a dad's home. It's okay. People walk down the street and, would, cheer for Trump, and he would stop and talk to absolutely everybody. And I don't know, I thought it was very impressive. It was very, brought in pallets of water, bought the entire fire department meals at McDonald's. Again, talked to people, handed out hats. That with him, there's a video of him standing in McDonald's, and he is absolutely surrounded by people. Like, there are people in very close to him, which is not something that you get from any politician at all. And he's just smiling and talking, and yeah, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Very helpful.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was all good. And
he was in East Palestine. Well, the pseudo president of the U.S. was in Ukraine licking Zelensky's boots. So
yeah,
we got that going for us.
Yeah, we do. And especially, gosh, we are sending stupid amounts of money and little speeches from Biden.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but yeah,
Yep.
there are a lot of Christian revivals popping up. People are, but man, it's just, I understand we shouldn't lose hope, and we should. I mean, as a Christian, I have faith in stuff that I don't understand, but as a person sitting here with my small children and stuff, it's like hard to deal with. But yes, you're right. There are revivals happening. There is stuff going on. I did not mean to interrupt you, and I apologize.
No, that's all right. No, and with the Ukraine thing, no, I saw this thing. It was talking about how when the war in Ukraine started, that there was peace talks floated, and is no, 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 no peace talks, and various ground has been gained by Russia, and people have died, and cities have been bombed out, and all of this, and it said that the Ukraine was in like over $100 million in debt, and I'm like, how are they possibly in debt?
Right.
Everybody, their aunt is sending the money. Where does it go?
Yeah, they're
We
in debt
spent
because it's
multiple
in.
times of Russia's entire military budget.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. It's because it's a scam. It's a money laundering opportunity. It's they're
Mm.
not using it for their people. They're using it for themselves. They're using it for, you know,
Yeah, people are literally coughing up blood in East Palestine, and Biden is out there giving a little speech about how we have to ensure the pensions of Ukrainian workers or public servants or something. I don't even know. It was some stupid crap. But well, and
yeah.
the thing is that okay, so Trump goes out, he talks to people, he glad hands everybody, everything's great. Hey, we're going to help. We're going to do this. We're going to make sure. And I heard some people, some people said like, oh, of course, we're going to. He's just doing this for publicity. He's doing it for a photo op and this and that. It's like, okay, sure, he is running for president again. That is a photo op, but the guy's been doing this for 30 years.
Right. It's not new. It's
Right.
not.
He's
And
done
everybody loved him when he did it before he was president.
Yeah,
It's
he's
just
done.
now he is who he is.
Yeah, he's done
Sorry.
this with cameras, without cameras. The guy likes to be loved. It's
Yeah.
like, hey, and also I have cash. Let's go down and help people. It's like,
Hmm.
oh, you mean this is a problem that can just be fixed by money, of which I have? Well, let's do it.
Right. And the fact that Biden refused to give aid to East Palestine and then went to Ukraine is just like a huge slap in the face to the entire country, and people should be pissed off about it.
Right.
There's no reason for him to be traveling abroad when we're dealing with this stuff here. There's just not,
And
because
not
he should care about us more. Not
exactly.
that we shouldn't care about other countries, but sorry, Anne, I keep interrupting you.
No,
But it's
that's
true. We shouldn't. We should. I think we should care about other countries, but not to the detriment of our own people here in our own area.
Mhm.
Like, you know, on an airplane, you take care of yourself first, and then you help the person next to you. Because if you're not taking care of yourself, you're not in a position to help the person next to you. Like, as a mother, my first instinct would be to help my kids, right?
right.
But if I'm not helping myself, if I can't breathe, what am I going to do for them?
Mhm.
Simplified, but you get the idea.
Yeah. No, definitely. And especially since no aid was sent to East Palestine until after Trump showed up, and then they're like, "Oh well,
Mhm.
I guess we'll send FEMA." Like, "Oh well,
Yeah,
great, thanks."
yeah.
And
Like,
now
oh,
they're
thanks for the half-assed attempt there to pretend that you care. Super.
right, and now they're like hauling away water and dirt from the area to like Texas and other places around the country for testing. Like, why?
Why? Why do we want to contaminate other places? Although, okay, I'm going to go off on a conspiracy theory. I have not done that much research into this, but it's a thing that I've seen floated, and I don't know if you've heard it, so you can tell me. Um, so apparently they want to do this smart city thing. Have you heard about smart cities? And the way that they're going to get, I don't know what they're going to be, but I don't know if it's going to be like the England thing where you can only travel a little bit and you have to be in a city and whatever. But part of the way they're going to get people to live in them is by saying that their land and water are polluted, and by saying that it's not fit to live there.
Oh,
And it's just,
that is some Judge Dredd crap.
I know. And I really try not to be the tinfoil hat person, but I think I just need to start embracing it, because the stuff that 2 3 years ago I would have been like, that's nonsense.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, dude, I can totally see them doing this, like, totally.
Hey, have you
So
ever Okay, and again, people who have properly read the comic books will be like, "And you don't even know." And like, I understand comic book people. I respect you. I just haven't read them. But the Judge Dredd movie with Sylvester Stallone, where the entire point is, you're in this cyberpunk dystopia, and the cops are also judge and jury and executioner all in one, so they can like dole out justice on the street. And
Yes, I've
then
seen that.
yeah,
Yes.
and then when you're exiled, it's just a barren desert wasteland, and you find that there's cannibals and weird stuff outside the gates
I don't
because
remember
it's
that part, but
they're
terrifying.
evil and mutated, and it's creepy. And then you have to go back to the city to fight your evil clone brother. That's just how it happens. But anyway,
I don't remember that part specifically, but
the point being that having that sort of authoritarian power in these cramped, tiny, closed spaces, and having your ultra regulated housing, food, um, businesses, jobs, money is all digital, robots are everywhere enforcing it, is just don't go there.
yeah. So, I get worried about all of these things that are happening in the world. And then I am married to the guy who's like, don't worry about what people are doing. He said, worry about the machines. And I'm like, oh, good. Just another thing for me to worry about. Thank you.
Well,
So please.
with the AI stuff, or even like we said before with the books, with Kindle, okay, that is something that I've always been like, yeah, but if they don't like the book, they can change it in an instant with a Wi-Fi update. And look at that. They're changing it in an instant with a Wi-Fi update. And even with audiobooks, losing, and this is something that I have an issue with. That's like, oh, well, I don't read as much as I used to. And I do a lot of watching things or audio things. And it's like, oh, it's difficult. It's more difficult to change audio. No, it isn't. They will either delete it entirely, or AI voices have come such a long way that it's very
Mhm.
easy to flip it around and change it.
Yeah. I mean, we do audio, video, right? And we said something like 20 months ago that they hated and it got removed. So
Yeah.
there you go. So,
Who
and I
even
said something
that one?
today that I won't be surprised if we get this one taken down. I'm sorry. My bad.
Oh wow.
Whatever. I'm gonna start putting these on Rumble, guys, just so you know.
Right. Man, so this is totally right. Okay, so I've been sitting around and watching the X-Men movies, and there's the later ones especially I haven't seen. And it's like, okay, yeah, whatever. X-Men, robots, time travel. I'm here. This is not a amazing film. But they're like, oh no, the bad guy. Um, it's Michael Fassbender. I love Michael Fassbender, but he's Magneto and he's in the basement, and they're like,
Okay.
and he can control metal. It's like, you killed JFK. And he's sitting there like, no, I was trying to save him. The CIA killed him because he's a mutant. And I'm like, after Tucker Carlson's rant, that tracks in world. What are you?
I will have to see Tucker's rant. I have not seen it.
Right. But
But
anyways, I just thought that was funny.
dude, just yeah. I think my next pattern, I have lots of plans for patterns, but maybe my next one's gonna be a tinfoil hat. Any yarn dyers got some really cool, like silvery gray yarn? Let me know.
Oh, Chicken Lady has one. I'm trying to remember what it's called because it's based off of like one of the first sci-fi robots, but it is silvery gray variegated with a bit of Selena in it, so it sparkles.
Well, great.
It's already
'Cause-
there.
yeah, great.
Mhm.
Well, maybe you guys, I don't know. Let me know if there's a interest in a tinfoil hat.
Mhm.
I'm thinking it's gonna have to look crinkled and maybe have a little point on it, like an I cord at the top. We'll have to think about that.
Maybe.
Why not?
Yeah. Jean says with sparkles. Exactly. It will sparkle. That'll be great.
My brain. After the non-sleep I've gotten for the past week or so. I don't need this in my brain.
I'm sorry. And but especially you don't need, sorry to finish out with East Palestine, but it was the little news reels of, and Pete Buttigieg is really, really, wow, what a guy. You know, he was a concert pianist and he learned Norwegian to read a book once. Wow, super stud. And there's this blonde
You
woman.
know what? I'd be happier if he learned how to be the transportation secretary, but that's just me.
Wow, that seems like a useful skill to have, especially if you're transportation secretary.
Okay, so there was a lady, I'm sorry.
It's like that thing where, you know, you lie on your resume and you get the job anyways, but part of that is hopefully you have to scramble to learn your job so you can do the job you lied about being able to do on your resume.
Yeah. It's okay to pad your resume. It's not great to just outright lie about your skills because that will come to light, as Pete Buttigieg has shown us.
I know. And I don't know.
And people love him and think he's doing a great job, and I'm like,
Like I said, there was this little clip of like, oh wow, he seems so presidential and so much like Obama. I'm like, yeah, because Obama was soups qualified. And that some lady, she's like, he's like chicken soup for my soul. And I'm like, what kind of acid do they have in your green room? But what's your deal, honey? But anyways, it was not good.
sorry.
I don't know.
So you were telling us something though. He was talking about.
Oh, no, just that Pete
Yeah.
Buttigieg put on a hard hat and some, you know, and his orange vest and, you know, LARPer.
Yeah, your dad's accurate.
Yes. And he walked around a bit and went, and then walked away. And no people who were not sanctioned for the photo op got anywhere near him.
Right. And for anybody watching who does not know what a LARPer is, it's a live action role player. So pretty much Anne's dad is just saying that he's just putting on the costume and playing a part because he knows about as much about it. He probably knows less than LARPers do, actually, but that's okay.
Exactly. LARPers, you know, trying to get a character, and he just sort of sat there with a wooden face, like, but it's sad. Justin Trudeau would have got into it, man. He would have put a little dirt on his face and been like, yeah, I work hard. Justin gets the full LARP.
I was gonna say
as a theater teacher.
Or he could be like Macron with his hoodie, you know.
I guess that you put a hoodie on because I too am butch. And I'm gonna put some plastic tables in my palace of justice, and we're getting stuff done here.
Oh, my brain.
Hey, Lynn is here. Lynn, what is the name of your colorway that is based on a robot and it's silvery variegated and there's Selena in it? Because we were just talking about it for a tinfoil hat thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a tinfoil hat pattern. So
yeah. I know it exists.
I'm gonna need some.
I couldn't think about it off the top of my head.
Yeah, Don says we all know why he got the job. Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much. But yeah, I don't. Okay.
You know, I don't want diversity. I want qualified people. If they happen to be diverse, fantastic. If they aren't, I don't care. I just want people to know what they're doing. Is that a bad thing to say? I mean, I'm sure it is, but
right. And remember, you know, when Trump had Rick Grenell, and there was this one press conference I remember that they were talking about. It was the.
I can't say that. That's the name of the colorway. I'm gonna have to get some, I guess. Thank you, Lynn.
Thank you, Lynn. We can't pronounce that.
Say that 3 times fast, right? I can't say it 1 time, so there you go.
The internet is forever, Lynn. I ain't trying. I'm sorry.
Okay, yes. So anyway, you were talking about Trump and his people.
No, that he was talking there, and they were talking about it was it Kosovo and Bosnia, that they're always going back and forth, and that there was a peace agreement, and the press were doing stupid things like, you know, asking questions about himself and him being gay, and he's like, you don't understand what's going on in the world. You have no he was pretty stern with the press, but like, this is incredibly important. This has been a decades long ordeal, and we are getting peace talks, and you are asking stupid questions about my
about who I
life.
like to sleep with. Like, that's
Right.
just weird.
Yeah.
Like, it would be if he was straight and they were like, so tell us about your relationship with your wife. That's weird. Why do we need to talk about it?
Right. And he's like,
Anyway.
I'm sorry, I'm here talking about actual world issues.
Right.
But
anyway, whatever.
Yeah, that's cool.
Anyway. What other horrible things do you have to tell us?
Oh,
oh God. When you say it like that.
I know. Let's see. Well, I'm getting to the end of my list. Woody Harrelson did have the SNL bit where
I didn't see it. I saw a reference to it, but I missed it.
Okay. He basically said, it's like, oh yeah, I had this script idea, and it was a script for what if all of the drug cartels in the world, they got together and they said that you cannot leave your houses unless you take multiple doses of our drugs. And then I thought, too crazy, man. Let's not do it.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, so
I'm sorry, but Lynn, your comment.
Doing your part, Lynn. Doing your part.
And better, that cough just hasn't gone away yet, man. Sorry. You're triggering it today. So what did Woody Harrelson was there backlash about it?
Yeah, there's backlash about it. There's a lot of support too, but it's sort of that, like, on one hand, yay, happy people are waking up. On the other hand, it was still a scripted SNL open. But I mean, I don't know. There's a certain amount of this where I think there are people waking up, and I think it's good. And the more momentum we can get from that, the better. And to keep momentum up, like, again, back to the book censorship, because I'm ticked. But it's like, to make sure that we don't become complacent for any of it. Not, sorry, reminds me of Henry V. I would not part with a village of it. I would have it all mine. I will not part with a stupid novel being rewritten. Without the author's consent, without anything such as that. No, nada, nothing. I was in Barnes and Noble 2 days ago and walking around, and, I'm like, oh, it's Barnes and Noble. Everything's expensive, and it's all, a lot of it is marketed for blue-haired teenage girls, which is fine. You're allowed to be a blue-haired teenage girl. But the bookshelves, the amount of things that were remake, movie remake, rewritten, this and that. Like, look, if you want Disney princess but rewritten for a gritty young adult audience, okay, sure. But there was so much of that, and it was just kind of shocking to me that I mean, I don't think that is sustainable for the book industry. I think they're having a real hard time, but also that to have an industry mentality that these are the books, that these, yeah, exactly. That this is it, and it is. And again, write and read what you like, but there is, and you get this with the sort of the Marvel movies and the comic books. It's like, okay, so you have Spider-Man, awesome, okay, and a couple decades later, they do a reboot of Spider-Man, okay, sure, and then we reboot it again, and we change things again, and we do this again, and it is very much the, oh, well, it's okay if we change the details. Like, after a while, it's like, no, it isn't, though. And
yeah, no, this isn't what it was. Like,
yeah.
And I think Neil from Blocked has said it before, like, if you want to have a black character, if you want to change somebody's story, don't mess with the stuff that has already been written. Make your own. Like Isom. Do what Eric July did. Don't just try. Like, it's
Like that.
such crap. Yes, it's such crap to just, like, remake stuff that's already in existence. What, you're not smart enough to come up with your own thing? That's
Right.
part of what it is. Like,
Yeah.
people aren't going to buy it because they know it's crap. So you're messing with the stuff that they like already, hoping that you'll bring them in. Knock it
Right.
off.
And that's the thing too. And that's one of the things that Eric July kind of promised when he started his comic book. He's like, I respect the customer. In respecting the customer, we have part two, which is no endless reboots, and we're not doing any time travel. What happens, happens. We're not going to pull
Hmm.
stupid crap on you.
Right.
Which, again, I was talking about watching the X-Men movies, and the X-Men movies after a while. So you have your present day characters. They broke their present day characters, so they had to go back to the past and
Hmm.
change. And it's like then you realize that people liked the younger versions of the actors. I mean, Ian McKellen is great as Magneto. Michael Fassbender is great as Magneto. How do we do both of them at the same time? And it's, again, it got stupid. Of course it got
Right.
stupid. But also it's like, so because you went back and forth on your movies, modern day Ian McKellen Magneto is totes evil. So but we had to go back and they were like, we're trying kind of changing things up here because Michael Fassbender Magneto is extremely sympathetic. How do we reconcile the two? I'm like, you're breaking your story. You don't,
Right.
it doesn't, and part of it, comic books are soap opera, but still, that it's like, this doesn't make sense. You're not, the continuity is ridiculous, and the audience is just supposed to accept this.
Hmm. No,
And that
it's
was, what, that was 2016 or 18 when they did those. So, I mean, it's
right.
only gotten worse now.
No, it's totally messed up. And there was something when you were talking about the Woody Harrelson thing. I saw, once again, I haven't been that up on things because I was on vacation, but I saw something about there is a group of actors and actresses who refuse to get the shot and they're being denied roles, and they have reached out to their union. They've written them 800 times and they have not been responded to.
Wow.
And it's just this whole, like, you're a non-person because you didn't get everything is just so broken, I guess, is my takeaway from that. Like, I'm so tired of all of these people who are, I don't know. Anyway, that was just a random little thought that I had.
No, it is. It's very much a, no man, solidarity. We're here for you. We're all in this together, except for you,
Hmm.
except
You
for
don't
this
drink the
type of
Kool-Aid,
person.
so
For,
yeah.
I was talking to a woman about grants and how, they're looking at into it. And it's like, okay, you can get a business grant from the government if you're every minority under the sun.
Hmm.
If you're, Black, Hispanic, Asian, if you're a woman, anything like that, completely. But you can't get a business grant if you're a white man,
Hmm.
which is discriminatory.
Right. No, years ago when I got together with my husband, he would say, white men are the most discriminated against people. And I was kind of like, I was not as political as I am now. And so I was kind of like, are you sure? Like, but it's true. It truly is. He interviewed for a job. He was more qualified than the other person, but he happened to be a white man and she happened to be a Black woman. And so therefore, and so now they're asking for that person is asking him questions about some stuff. And it's kind of like, okay, like, you're new in a job, of course you're going to ask questions, but interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's old. It's all old. I don't know, man. So anyway, the world's going into the shitter. What else we got?
Well, I think we've covered enough subjects, unless you have something else. I mean,
No, I'm
censorship sucks. Don't do it.
here. DeSantis has a new book coming out on Wednesday, and that's a real man. I don't know. I think I mentioned it, but the guy who's in charge of the World Economic Forum said that he was a good person and a good candidate. So now I'm a little bit leery. of
I
him.
know. It's like he's done a lot of good stuff for Florida. Don't want to do that.
Mhm.
I'm still a Trump gal, as my
Yeah,
as
I'm
my
still on the
it,
fence, and I think that's okay too.
yeah, that's true. And
It's
also, I mean, like the you know, primaries are gonna primary. And I don't it's like, oh well, Trump shouldn't bash DeSantis and DeSantis shouldn't bash Trump. And like, okay, sure, fine, whatever. But I've said this before, but I am so sick and tired of people pussyfooting around these things. Like, oh, well, no, we should just be nice. And all of the nice guys are going for DeSantis. And DeSantis has done some quote unnice things when he pushed back against Disney and that. It's like, no, that's what I like. Taking
Mhm.
the issues seriously and doing real things to change those issues. Love
Right.
it. Here for it. Bought the t-shirt. But it's like, oh no, DeSantis should do it because he's nice. And I saw this thing. Jeb Bush has endorsed DeSantis. Jeb.
Yeah, there's something about the mealy mouth people going for him that make me a little bit. I'm a big fan of. I want somebody who's not nice. I don't want to like the person all the time. Their job is not for me to like them. Their job is to do what's right for our country. And that's why I liked Trump. I'm not sure that he could do it again. I'm not
Yeah.
that's where I stand on it. It'd be nice if we got someone younger, but then again, everybody that I've heard of so far is kind of mealy mouth. So,
Yeah,
um
and Nikki Haley, like, ooh, me too. I will also be maybe a vice presidential candidate. And I know
yeah.
some people, Christy Nome lately. Christy needs to stop having work done. She was a pretty gal to begin with. Please stop, Christy. But anyways,
She gonna look like Madonna soon?
I hope not. Anyways, that
Yeah. I don't know what happened to Anne, but Emily says, I can't wait to see what diversity hire the Dems are going to run. For real, I want somebody based on what they're doing, not based on what they look like, what they act like, yeah. I'm sorry, Anne, you stopped.
oh,
So,
okay. I'm sorry.
um, yeah. So I don't know what
Um,
you were saying. Go ahead.
oh, sorry. No, that anyway, so Christy Nome that she banned TikTok off government devices, which is great. I saw Mercedes is going to put TikTok in their cars. So I love the CCP knowing wherever I'm going. Um but anyways, so she's done that. Christy Nome is trying to make it so Chinese government and other hostile governments such as Iran and other places around the world cannot buy farmland in South Dakota. I think it might be all property, but she was talking specifically about farmland.
Hmm.
Um, things like that. Things like that are great things. And I've heard people say it's like, oh well, because she has political aspirations. And maybe, yeah, maybe Kristi Noem has political aspirations, but also she she's the governor for South Dakota. Part of the thing of having a vice presidential candidate is that you want to gain favor with a state that perhaps is not, that you want more votes for your ticket from a particular state.
Hmm.
And ain't nobody at all cares about South Dakota. Nobody. Okay, if we were on fire with toxic fumes, we would get nothing. No sympathy. Nobody flippin' cares. Okay? But very luckily, because nobody cares about us, all of the Democrats are going to Texas and Florida. So that's
Hmm.
great. You can take them.
Yeah.
But
No, Florida's gotten bad, man. Just the amount of people that have been moving there. And my husband had a point, and he's like, it's cool that people want to get to Florida, he said, but what we need is like Republicans to go to states that are kind of on the cusp. He's like, Georgia needs more Republicans. Because yeah, Atlanta's trying to turn them blue, but really they're almost there. Like, instead of going to Florida, go to Georgia and turn the tables. Go to those states that are starting, because they've got big cities that are starting to turn purple. Like, go there.
Well, and
change
I heard
things.
that there's
And Florida's a joke. My God, the amount of people there. I've never been in traffic like that in my whole life, and I've driven through Boston and New York City, so that tells you something.
well,
Uh,
I know that from the West Coast that there's a lot of people moving to
mhm,
like Utah and Idaho and other places. But I don't know if I told this story before, but I know this. Oh, the guy who does our intro, Joel.
mhm,
He is part of a church singing group, and he moved around and he goes around the country, and with his college. And he was talking to somebody in San Francisco because they had a stop there, and he was talking to the pastor of this church, and they were talking, and he's like, wow. And the pastor's showing him around and showing the different, outreach things that their church has. And he was saying, and he's like, okay, this is where our church is, and there's homeless guys across the parking lot. Basically, if you're interested in this church, know that this is what we're dealing with. And he's like, yeah, yeah, sure, I get it. You need to reach out to people. And the pastor said something very interesting, that a lot of people, if they say, we're sending missionaries to a third world country, people are like, awesome. People need to hear the gospel. You need to
mhm.
outreach to people no matter where they are in the world. But then when people talk about California, the general attitude is, yeah, let it fall into the ocean. And he's like, no, we need to help people here too. And a lot of people are leaving. And he personally is finding it very difficult, in
Mhm.
his own little outreach ministry. And it's, remembering that hearts and minds still need to be changed, even in terrible areas. And especially
Yeah.
in San Francisco itself is where this guy is working.
Yeah. It's it needs to be done. And I think that, like, we don't love New York politics, but we love New York. And so we're not gonna go unless something really gets awful, like, Hochul finally gets her gun bans through, or something like that. Something really extreme would have to happen for us to leave. But
Yeah, that line is different for everybody. Where the line between, like,
right,
okay, I'm done and I need to do what's best for my family,
right.
versus like, no, we're gonna fight it out.
But I think that there's something to be said about, sticking it out and making changes. And it's hard when you're in a state like New York or California, where it's like, we're blue. We're blue through and through. There's not much that can be done to change it. But I do happen to live in a teeny tiny pocket of red. And, if we can start getting things going here in our little pocket, and we can kind of push them out, you know, but we have to start doing things locally. And it's hard to look at. You don't want to have to do that hard work. I get it. I really don't
Well,
want to do it.
and
But
also, yeah, and also, I've said this before, you know, everyone should have the confidence of Stacey Abrams, who still believes that the state of Georgia wants her to be governor. But also think of lefty activist types, okay?
mhm,
That there are trans activists that literally believe that Republicans want them dead. Literally, they believe this, and you'll see this in like protest videos of, yeah, but you just want to kill me, and you're like, what?
you know
What?
what? I've got a
Where
newsflash.
that?
I actually don't think about you at all.
Yeah, it's like, no, no, nobody wants. We don't want to. What? What are you even
I
talking
just don't
about?
want you doing that to my kids. Like,
Yeah.
if one day my kid was an adult and said, "Hey, I think I'm a dude or a girl or a monkey," I wouldn't love it, but they would be an adult and that would be their choice. And you know what I mean? But they got to stop. So, the abortion thing happens. There is a group out there that is crocheting big things of the Statue of Liberty, and they're doing this abortion activist thing and stuff. And I think that that's where we fall down. Stuff is happening that we don't like, and we're like, oh, we don't like that. Whereas these people are like, we need abortion rights. And so they're going to all of the different states, putting in these giant crochet murals about abortion rights and talking about it and spreading the word. And so maybe we need to start some activism like that. The cat is
Well,
literally
and
exploding
part
through the door.
and part of the thing too is that emotionally, very much love leftist activism is always whipped up into a froth all the time.
Mhm.
And I think on a lot of our side that's like, okay, this is very serious and we need to do something about it. But also at the end of the day, we're like, okay, we're going to do something about it, but also I have my own family and my own life, and
Mhm.
sometimes I have to put this to the side and take care
Right.
of that. And I mean, part of it too is not with everybody, but there is, I mean, this is a generalized comment, but it's like if you're more content in your personal life, then you're not so antsy about whatever your political thing is.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, a lot of people, I mean, you included, that look at what they're doing to my kids. I'm unhappy about what they're doing, so I'm going to talk about it, which is
Mhm.
absolutely excellent. But you do have that, there is that level of, I am this way, therefore people want to kill me. And that is whipped up into whatever political thing to be louder. And yeah.
Yeah. Um, I do think that you hit it on the head though, that part of the reason that people who are more aligned with us are happier, they're more fulfilled in their actual life. And they don't need these other weird things to she's stuck in my cord. We don't need these other causes to fill us up.
Right.
And I think that that's part of it. This
Yeah.
cat did not miss me at all while she was gone. She did not wake me up all night long purring and walking on me at all.
Yeah. Yeah. But with the political thing, it reminds me one of my favorite old fashioned proverbs, and it can be applied to almost anything, but it's fire. Fire is a good servant, but a terrible master.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And which can be applied in so many things. Fire is great to cook. Fire is great to light. Fire is really terrible when it's in charge. Okay. Because
Mm-hmm.
there goes your entire house. But
Right.
we get that with so many other things. Politics, great servant, terrible master. If politics is the only thing in your life, and that goes to other things, that, you know, sorry, now I'm losing it. Reason is an excellent servant. We all need reason. But where it's nothing but logic in your life, that is deadly. And nothing but logic in your life is horrible.
Yep.
And I mean, and logic is great. Logic can do things like happy economic policies, but logic can also twist it into yourself and get communism. Okay? It's can work
Right.
either way. It's just a thing. It depends on what it's based on. Hobbies, again, great servants, bad masters. You can't base your entire life on a hobby.
Are you
Um,
sure? I'm trying to.
I know. That's kind of hard to know though, isn't it? But things like that, whatever you like, it's bad if it rules you. And of course, being a Christian would be like, God is in charge for a reason, because he is
Yep.
wiser and much beyond, and he understands how humans work because he made them. And I mean, y'all center your life on what you like, but very much a no, God in his place as he is supposed to be, and then everything else falls through like it's supposed to be.
Right.
And don't, and people say it, use the term a lot, like idols, that idol worship things that aren't God. But again, it's make sure that whatever it is that you hold highly, where how much do you serve it? And again, good things, that like good economic policy, fantastic, can be done, but just make sure it's all where it ought to be.
Yeah.
But,
Very good. Um, and we've gone long, so
right.
don't let the thing overtake your whole life, like Anne said.
Right.
Um,
um Anyways, back to Lynn, who's in the chat right now. Get her lovely yarn. like I said, her promo code for 20% off. For the rest of February, Hearts 20 PIK, or for the month of March, Solstice 20 PIK. Our winners again, D York for December, who had the lovely icy blue yarn and Cody Schlegel's book. Again, please contact us. If not in the week, we're going to redraw because that's been a while. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But Kansas Chicky for January won the yarn.
This one?
And yep, one DK's holding. And Bootleg Knitter won the lovely mauve, which is, again, this is the Wyandotte, but it's 80 merino, 10 cashmere, and 10 nylon. Is a fantastic base, and Lynn will dye up anything on it, including
It's really nice.
this beautiful color.
This is on that too, and it makes you want to just squish it.
I know.
Yep.
I knit a hat out of this. I think it was one of Wise Owl Knits, her cable hats. That was a test knit for it. Oh, it was fantastic.
Yep. And you know, we're gonna do live from the Name Wars tomorrow. We have Liz from You and Die, right?
Right.
Who will be joining us. And also, guys, we're finishing up just in time that you can hop over to Carrie Smith's channel and watch her Kerfifi break. Starts at 12 Central, so in a few minutes. That's going on.
Definitely.
So,
and also, Murder Knits is back, which is exciting. I'm so excited.
I heard.
I know. I saw she put 2 episodes out. I'm like, wow, she is on fire. But I've only seen the first one that she's put out since she's been back. Also, Two Sisters and Some Yarn, they also put out their video. So yeah,
check out our friends. Thanks for joining us.
Check out
Make
Lynn.
sure you check out Chicken Lady, chickenladyfiberarts.com.
Yeah.
And
hop on Carrie's live stream.
Yeah. We'll see you guys later.
All right.
Thanks for joining us.
All right. Bye.